Welcome to the Fast Leader Podcast, where we explore convenient yet effective shortcuts that will help you get ahead and move forward faster by becoming a better leader. And now, here's your host, customer and employee engagement expert, and certified emotional intelligence practitioner, Jim Rimbach.
Need a powerful and entertaining way to ignite your next conference, retreat, or team building session? My keynotes don't include magic, but they do have the power to help your attendees take a leap forward by putting emotional intelligence into their employee engagement, and customer-centric leadership practices. So bring the infotainment creativity of the Fast Leader Show to your next event, and I'll help your attendees get over the hump now. Go to beyondmorale.com/speaking to learn more. Okay, Fast Leader Legion, today we're going to have a great show because the guest that I have today, the first time we met, it was so intriguing to me that I had to have her on the show. Kristy Powers was born and raised with a sister and two brothers in Ormond Beach, Florida, a town that cozies up to Daytona Beach, the world's most famous beach. She had an independent start at young adulthood, having lived on her own since she was 16. She finished high school with honors and attended college while working several waitress jobs. Kristy began her professional career quite young, having been promoted to serve as executive assistant and resort manager at a country club at the age of 18. Through her early experiences, Kristy discovered her love for serving and leading others with a strong belief that those go hand in hand. She credits two early influences that helped her find her way: Tom Hopkins, best-selling author and famed international sales trainer, and Robin Leach, the host of the TV show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Tom taught her that everyone is a salesperson, selling ideas, opinions, and themselves every day. Robin taught her that champagne wishes and caviar dreams are important. Both of those ideas led her to believe and invest in herself for a good life. Kristy has built 3 industry-recognized contact centers from the ground up and led positive changes towards award-winning service in 2 others. Currently, she is the manager of quality service with Navy Federal Credit Union, the world's largest credit union. Kristy and her team have recently taken their 3,500-person contact center on a quality evolution to elevate the service provided to members and team members every day. In her spare time, Kristy enjoys cooking and entertaining with friends in the home that she and her husband Greg share in a Virginia suburb of Washington, D.C. Kristy Powers, are you ready to help us get over the hump?
I am totally ready to get over the hump today.
I'm glad to have you. Now, I've given our listeners a little bit about you, but can you tell us what your current passion is so that we can get to know you even better?
Of course, Jim. So my current passion right now is thinking about the young leaders that we have at work. We're reaching a time in my company where a lot of our baby boomers are retiring, and there are not enough of us Generation Xers to take over. And we're counting on our millennials to fulfill some of those roles, and helping guide their careers and prepare them to develop competencies that'll make them successful is what I'm focused on right now.
You know, I know what you're saying is really an issue for a lot of organizations, and I think many of them are unfortunately, not being really proactive with this particular issue. Because when you look at the sheer numbers associated with, let's just say, loss of leadership skill and talent, I think there was something that I read that said in 20 years. Essentially, like 75 to 80% of the leaders that we have now are going to be out of the workforce. What are your numbers looking like?
Well, we're an 85-year-old company, and so many of our leaders are highly tenured within the organization, have a lot of institutional knowledge, and have been with us for 30, 35 years. As we look to the future, we have a subset of the middle population of Gen Xers, and then we have a huge millennial population coming in. It's also the same with our member base. So the great thing about having so many millennials join our workforce at Navy Federal Credit Union is that many of the members who join us are there too. So we're able to get a lot of good ideas from our millennial workforce to help us meet the needs of our members.
That's another great thing to look at and I don't think, that's all probably part of the planning process for a lot of organizations, is that when you start looking at the people who are, really having the money to buy products and services, the percentage of those folks are becoming younger and younger. And so their buying power is becoming bigger. When you start talking about kids in the home, a lot of times organizations don't think about even their buying power. Now, the money is through their parents, of course, but they still have the ability to influence and make decisions on things that they want their parents to buy for them. And making that connection is going to make a better experience. So how do you, beyond what you had mentioned, tactically do that at Navy Federal Credit Union?
So we have an amazing learning and development platform and team, and they help us facilitate a lot of these discussions. So we use a competency-based system to help people learn, grow, and develop. So for example, on my team, I have a team of about 130 people in 4 locations, and we do individual development plans where we focus on 2 to 3 competencies a year. And part of that is to talk about things like, what quotes inspire you about this competency? What do you look like right now? What do you want to look like in the future, your behavior and the way that people react to you in this competency? And what are some things you can do in between time to help grow within those competencies? What's interesting about that is it really takes people on a deep dive. And I even do this one for myself. So it takes you on a deep dive to look at yourself and what you have to offer and where you can grow. It doesn't mean that you're not skilled in those competencies, but it could mean that the difference between being great and being a rock star. So then every Friday, we have something called Friday Fives. And this was introduced to me by an executive coach with Lamager, who I was really pleased to work with. And what my team members do is, and I do this as well, and I send them to my boss and one of my mentors, is that if you take 5 minutes on Friday and you write down what you learned this week, what you did this week for your development, what you learned, and what you intend to do next week. And the important part of that process of the Friday Fives is it keeps you accountable. A lot of times it's really easy to put a development plan together and shove it in a drawer and not look at it again until the next year. And so this makes you really think about it throughout the week, actively pursue ways to open yourself up to experiences that help you build on those competencies. I'll give you an example. Most recently, I was talking to one of my colleagues at work, and I was telling them about a competency I wanted to build on. And she said, oh, well, if you want to build on that competency, there is this quarterly meeting, strategic meeting that you can go to where we really talk about these things that you're interested in learning. How about if I get you an invite? What was so important about that is when I kind of put it out to others and put my goals out to the universe a little, it was incredible how many people would step in and help me. That is about the 3rd time since I started this new IDP last month that I've shared it with someone and they've reached back to help me. And so we look to do that with our team members too. And so that when they're focused on building these competencies and it's top of mind, that it's incredible how many things come your way when they're in your space to recognize them.
You know, I think there's some really key things that you said in there, and thanks for sharing, is that, you talked about IDP, and for those that aren't familiar with that, that's an individual development plan. And, actually making it public that, you're going down this path and not even really having to ask for the help. It's amazing what comes to you just when other people are aware of it, because by and large, we want to help others and we want to help others be successful in our society. And when you start talking about customer care and customer service, I mean, we just have a larger percentage of those folks, which is great, but you got to put yourself out there. And the other thing that you mentioned is quotes. And of course, we love those on the Fast Leader Show. Is there a quote or two that inspires you that you can share?
There is, and it is actually framed in my office, and it's by John Quincy Adams. It says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. That really resonates with me because I think about leaders that I've respected in my life, and that's exactly what they've done for me. They've helped me see that I could dream more and learn more, become more, do more. And when we provide that to people, it makes it really easier for all of us to join the ride.
Well, we also have been told, and we don't always feel it, is that when we give gifts, we actually have greater levels of fulfillment than when we receive those gifts. Well, when you start talking about those folks helping you and making that offer, those are gifts that is also fulfilling, for them. And if we share in that, it just makes it a much, much more abundant, place to be around. And those are the kind of work environments that will attract those millennials and retain them, and which more organizations are trying to be able to, figure out how to do that. And that is a great tactic and method to really, attract and retain the younger generation is to share those things and create that environment. Now, we've had the opportunity to chat on several occasions, and I've just really enjoyed getting to know you more and your background and story and the things that you have go through. It's, oh gosh, we talked about it building character, and that, you even said that you wouldn't be the person that you are today if it wasn't, going through those early childhood, or I should say early adulthood learnings. And so those are huge humps, and we have a lot of humps that we have to go through in order to build, us as people. And hopefully it's all for the better. But is there a story that you can share that will help us gain more strength?
Jim, everybody has a story, and this one's mine. At 16 years old, I had to move away from home. I was an honor student, and I needed to finish school when living by myself. So I worked 6 days a week in a 24-hour restaurant. I'd leave school and go to work from 3 to 11, where I could eat 2 meals for free, which was pretty easy on the pocketbook. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, I'd work doubles, 3 to 11, and then 11 to 7, because the money was just so good and there was free food galore. Then as I started my professional career, I was still working 2 jobs up until I felt secure enough that I could pay my bills with 1 job. And through that, I would say the most important things I learned were fierce independence, salesmanship, resiliency, tenacity, work ethic, and really good problem solving. I'm good with change and do well in uncertain circumstances. And a lot of times people will ask me, why does change not stress you out? And it's because throughout my life, I've experienced so much change and I've just had to roll with it. I was free to make my own decisions at a really young age, but I was not free to be risky. These kind of circumstances don't always turn out well for kids like me. And I was really lucky and grateful that my parents set me up at a young age to have a good head on my shoulders.
No, I mean, maybe the good head on your shoulders as far as the way that they set you up from a DNA perspective, but to be able to go through that, that's yet a whole different level. Now, you had mentioned something about going through that experience and gaining this fierce independence. Well, we all know that having that fierce independence is something that doesn't help when you're part of an organization to move things forward and really manage change and execute change. So how have you been able to make sure that that fierce independence wasn't undermining your ability to move forward?
In the beginning, when I was young in my career, I would say it did get in the way. But what I learned is that it was not effective and I wasn't getting the response that I was looking for. Other people want to participate. Other people want to help you do your best. And as they do their best. And it brings me back to working with someone who is a very dear friend to me now. She was a team member on my team. And she said, Kristy, if you'll let me get to know you a little bit better, I will work harder for you than you ever imagine. And it really made me take pause. I was in my 20s. And I thought, she's being vulnerable with me by telling me this, and I need to receive that. And I did, and it changed the way I lead people and how I help them participate. I mean, it really goes back to the John Quincy Adams quote. I needed to be one that would help others grow and learn more, do more, and be more. At that time, I was working 90 plus hours in a .com for the .com gold rush in Washington, D.C. And she was the one that I learned the most from.
Well, that was definitely a huge benefit because when you start putting that whole, piece together of, I know what it takes in order to be able to not just survive, but thrive. And then also learning the components of being able to do it as a collective. I know you have to be a great team member and highly valued. And that's one of the things that also intrigued me as I was learning more about you. I saw where you were recognized for being, well, I guess say a leader that has received awards for being good at what you do. And that's, I think it just is all culminated. And so when you start looking at all of these things that you've been part of and that you want to be part of, what are some of your goals?
Some of my goals really are at this point in my career, to help more people. I know that throughout my lifetime, so many people helped me, and how important that was to having a good career and to having a good life. And so as I look out towards the people that work on my team and the people that I influence and my husband's business, where we touch so many people every day, how can I be the positive force for helping them accomplish their goals?
And the Fast Leader Legion wishes you the very best. Now, before we move on, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. Maximum contact center agent performance is impossible unless your customer is involved in grading and coaching agents. So make it simple for you and customers with the award-winning external quality monitoring program from Customer Relationship Metrics. Get over the hump now by going to customersgradethecall.com/fast and getting your $7,500 rapid results package for free. All right, here we go, Fast Leader Legion. It's time for the Hump Day Hoedown. Okay, Kristy, the Hump Day Hoedown is the part of our show where you give us good insights fast. So I'm going to ask you several questions, and your job is to give us robust yet rapid responses that are going to help us move onward and upward faster. Kristy Powers, are you ready to hoe down?
I am ready to hoe down, Jim.
All right. So what do you think is holding you back from being an even better leader today?
Nothing. If it's to be, it's up to me. I am constantly pushing myself to learn more. I've also been very lucky throughout my career to have great leaders to help me soar. I mean, right now, my own senior leaders give me a lot of opportunity to do my thing and forge new paths. And that empowerment pays off for all of us.
What is the best leadership advice you have ever received?
An old boss of mine said, leadership is a lot like parenting. Now, I'm not a parent, but I have found it to be true. It takes love, wisdom, direction, clear expectations, sometimes a sprinkling of discipline, and lots of laughters. You know, sometimes we're going to mess up, and it's okay. As long as we learn from it, move on, it'll all turn out okay, as long as we have the best of intentions.
What is one of your secrets that you believe contributes to your success?
Definitely my ability to work comfortably and lead in ambiguity. It's been a main contributor to my success, and I generally can see where to go. And I think it's a gift I received in exchange for the security during my younger years. I only needed a few things to get me started, and my team and I can accomplish anything.
What do you feel is one of your best tools that helps you lead in business or life?
Oh, I have two. Amazon Prime and MBTI. Amazon Prime, because things that I need to help boost my career and learn, books that take me on a journey, music that helps soothe the tensions when things get tough can show up at my door the next day. The other is MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, and it uncovers psychological preferences on how people perceive the world and make decisions. I am an ENTJ, and I recognize that only 2% of the population is ENTJ, and only 1% of those are women. That means 98 to 99% of the population is not like me. And so I have learned to flex my communication style to ensure that I get the best response out of others. I would say the Amazon Prime and MBTI, those are my two top tools.
What would be one book, and it could be from any genre, that you recommend to our listeners?
Hands down, The Inspiring Leader by John Zingerfeld.
Okay, Fast Leader listeners, you can find links to that and other bonus information from today's show by going to fastleader.net/Kristy Powers. Okay, Kristy, this is my last Hump Day Hoedown question. Imagine you were given the opportunity to go back to the age of 25, and you've been given the opportunity to take the knowledge and skills that you have now back with you, but you can't take everything. You can only choose one. So what skill or piece of knowledge would you take back with you, and why?
25, the quarter life crisis. First of all, you couldn't pay me to go back to my 20s, but I would say that I would be more patient with myself and with others. During that time in when I was around 25, I was working for that .com, and I did not have the patience that was necessary to lead as effectively as I would have liked, and I was not nearly as patient on myself. Age and experience has definitely helped me focus more on family, friends, team members, and people in my life more than ever before.
Kristy, it was an honor to spend time with you today. Can you please share with the Fast Leader Legion how they can connect with you?
Yes, so you can find me on Twitter at Kristy Powers. You can also find me at Kristy_Powers at NavyFederal.org.
Kristy Powers, thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. The Fast Leader Legion honors you and thanks you for helping us get over the hump. Thank you for joining me on the Fast Leader Show today. For recaps, links from every show, special offers, and access to download and subscribe, if you haven't already, head on over to fastleader.net so we can help you move onward and upward faster.